And we are live on another Sunday afternoon. It is a beautiful day out there today. Wherever you are in the world, whether you are in somewhere in Europe or whether you're somewhere in Africa or the Middle East, even my folks here in the US, welcome back to the Broken Not Shattered, the BNS podcast. My guest today has such a tremendous and interesting story to tell, and I believe that Tiffany's story would bring some kind of inspiration to you. As you can see, Tiffany is with her son Amir, and it's this is one of the first or second time actually we've actually had both mother and son on the platform together. So welcome Tiffany and welcome Amir to the BNS podcast. Hey buddy, how are you?
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
It's
All right, so thanks a lot. I had some statistics to share, but before I share those statistics, I think I'll do it towards the end so you can share your story. Um, it's an incredible story, and I know that there's some parent somewhere or some adult somewhere who'll be so inspired um, just by listening to what happened in your world. Take us
okay.
back to that very moment everything started happening.
hmm So it was July 1st, 2022. I had work that morning. Amir was up in the morning. He wanted to go to the store. I took him to the store. Went to work as usual. Um, I actually stayed at work an hour later. I only worked up the street, so maybe a 3-minute drive from my house. Um, So I worked an extra hour. I got off. I was driving home. I had to stop at the gas station right at the corner of my home because this guy that worked there, he was going to change the battery in my other car because the next day we were going. I don't know. People might not know Wildwood, New Jersey, but that's like where the beach is. So for Philadelphia, we live in Philadelphia, so it's about an hour and a half. My dad has a beach home in Wildwood, New Jersey, so we always go there either on the weekends or in the summer and things like that. So we were going for the 4th of July, my nephew's birthday party. And just because it was the 4th of July, everybody was going there for a barbecue and all. So before I actually got off of work, Amir had texted me and asked if his friend could come over, which this friend came over all the time. I met his mom. We went out to eat together. We took the boys to the Sugar Factory, which is a restaurant in New Jersey, for their 8th grade graduation together. So this is someone that like I know his mom. So I texted his mom. I said, "Can he come over?" I'm not going to say his name because he is a minor. Um,
Right.
I asked his mom, "Can he come over?" She said yes, that she would drop him off. And no, actually, Amir texted her because he asked me to text her, and he was like, "Mom, I texted her," and she said, "Okay." So anyway, we got that established. He was coming over. So the boy got there, I think around 2 p.m. Amir called me and asked me if I could order them pizza, which I did. That was the last time I got to hear Amir's voice, so that's why I bring that up. Because that was the last time I ever heard his voice after that. So, so like I said, I continue at work. I was supposed to get off at 6. I got off at 7. I stopped at the gas station, literally at the corner of my house. I'm there waiting for the guy to get in my car to take him up the street to my other car to put a new battery in because that's the car we were going to take to Wildwood, New Jersey.
Mhm.
But I needed a new battery. So as he's getting in, Amir's dad works overnight, so he was sleeping when this happened. He leaves for work at 9 p.m. Mind you, this happened around 6:30, 7 p.m. So he was sleeping, but he woke up to a bang in our bathroom, like a big bang. And the boy ran in and was like, Amir was just shot. So when his dad got up, he went in the bathroom and saw Amir on the ground. And he saw him on the ground, and he didn't realize that he was shot because we don't own guns. But when the boy said he was shot, like it didn't register because we don't have guns in our home, so it just didn't make sense. But then he saw the gun laying next to Amir on the floor, so he put two and two together that the young boy must have brought the gun there with him. So I get a phone call right after that happened, and I just see cops and ambulance flying by me because, like I said, I'm at the corner of my home. So when he said that, I still also didn't believe it because I'm like, we don't have guns, and I forgot the kid came over, and he just was like yelling to get here. So I got there, and by the time I got there, Amir was downstairs. Like how our house was set up, we had two different entrances. I was at the entrance where you park in the parking lot, and they took Amir out the other side of the door. So I never got to see Amir leave. But I was like in the parking lot, and I was asking the cops out there, like, was he breathing? And his dad was out there calling family members, and they said he was still breathing. He never stopped breathing. So that actually helped a lot with Amir's brain because he didn't have, the
Yeah, right.
oxygen
Yes,
never stopped.
exactly.
Yeah.
There you go.
And he didn't lose a lot of blood, so that also helped with the oxygen flow to his brain. But the bullet went into his head and it never came back out. So that also could have helped because if it would have came back out, he might not have been here with us.
Yeah, blood. Yeah.
So they take him to the hospital, the closest trauma hospital, and we get there. The cop drives us there. And about an hour, we're outside for about an hour. Some family shows up, maybe an hour. I don't really know the time frame because I was like out of it. It could have been 20 minutes, to be honest. It just felt like an hour before I got to like get any news or anything. So they take us in a room, and it was me, his dad, his grandmom on his dad's side, and my brother. We go in this little room, and the doctor comes in and just says he's non-survival. So in my head, I thought they said he didn't survive or he wasn't going to survive. They just said this injury is non-survival. And yeah, at that moment, this is me and his dad's. This is our only child. We have no other kids, so we kind of like lost it a little bit. Thank God we had family there praying with us and keeping us together, because I don't know if the family didn't get there when they did, I don't know if I would be here, because I kind of blacked out and it just, I couldn't believe what was happening. So he spent 10 days in that hospital. He kept spiking a bad fever, and they kept telling me it was from his brain injury. They took the part of the skull off so his brain could swell and everything like that. And he's showing. So after 10 days, we got him transported to a better hospital, which is Children's Hospital Philadelphia. We got him there, and they told me that he actually had a brain infection from the other hospital, not caring for the wound as they should have. So now he's fighting a really bad brain infection. And Chop told me that it's not, after he survived the 3 days, they give you 3 days after injury to the head. His eyes was, when he put the light in his eyes, he was
responded to
it. Yeah, so we knew that he was still there somewhat. We just didn't know how much he was going to be there. When we got the Chop, their main focus was the brain infection and not the gunshot wound. Like, of course, the gunshot wound also, but at this point, it was a really bad infection, and they were like, he's probably not going to survive the infection in his brain because it's so bad. He was on medication for that infection until we stayed 2 months in the hospital and 5 months in rehab there. So we spent 7 months at CHOP. And I want to say out of that 7 months, he was on the infection medication for at least 6 months. That's how bad the brain infection was. They had to actually change it because it wasn't, the first time it wasn't doing the first medication they tried wasn't doing anything. So he did multiple surgeries there where they took out more of the skull. So because his head was expanding so much, they had to take more of the skull off. So he went through that surgery. He went through an intense clean out of the brain because of the infection, where they came to me and said that he had a blood clot going to his lungs or his heart, and they didn't know what was going to happen. And come to find, after like 5 minutes, I'm freaking out, and they came and said it just disappeared. And we were praying. His grandma was there. Both of us, me and his dad, come from both families that pray, and so we had a lot of that around us. And my mom passed away in 2016. I just want to say this because this is a big part of why I think Amir is still here too. My mom passed away in 2016. Her name was Barbara. The first hospital that Amir went to, the floor that he was on, was called Barbara. It was dedicated to a lady named Barbara. Then they had a chaplain come in and pray for us in the room, and her name was Barbara. And I just believe that my mom was there, and I always tell people this story because it just it's so real, God.
I love them always around one or the other.
So we spent 2 months in the hospital, 5 months in rehab. And a lot of the time in the hospital, the doctors would come to me and tell me that even though he was breathing over the machine he was on, they would tell me that if he wakes up, once he wakes up, he probably won't do anything. Like he won't be able, all he would do is lay there and blink his eyes. He won't be able to communicate. He won't be able to eat or anything like that. So, like I said, we come from a family that prays, and I just couldn't. I just, I just didn't believe that that was going to be his outcome. I don't know if God, like, just something in my heart told me that wasn't the outcome, and they just kept pushing. They would give me meetings after meetings, asking me to, starve him because we couldn't put a plug on him because he was breathing over the machine. So they wanted to starve him to where he and let him pass away. And I just wouldn't let that happen because I just couldn't believe it. Maybe that was just me being, I couldn't let my son go, but he was grabbing my hand when I asked him to grab my hand. And I was showing the doctors this, and they still was just bypassing it and not believing that he's grabbing I'm moving my hand around and he's reaching for it. When I would ask him to blink his eyes, he would blink his eyes. So it was just things like that was there that I couldn't let that just bypass me and just
Yeah,
believe
they,
that it was
they
going.
didn't want to recognize that there's an improvement taking place.
Yes, yes,
You could actually see your son responding to things because maybe most likely they had made up their mind that there's no way he's going to come out of this. So what you were saying didn't make sense to them. They were like, "Oh, she's tripping," kind of thing.
yes,
You knew that there was a God involved in this whole thing, and that's why your son is right next to you. Wow,
yes,
wow,
yes.
wow.
So he spent a good amount of time, 5 months inpatient in rehab, and he did a lot of outpatient rehab. And Amir is really, I mean, he's phenomenal. He has like a personality that he always had that I'm so happy that I got back. He can't speak words, but he speaks with a device, and he can't walk because the right side of your brain controls the left side of your body, and the left side. So he was shot on the right side, on the left side of his head. So the right side of his body is actually paralyzed, his arm and his leg, and that's the only reason he cannot walk. He actually is left-handed. He always been left-handed, so that actually was a plus.
I'm
So
left-handed too, so that's good.
yeah,
Hey,
it was just so many things that God told me it just wasn't his time. It just wasn't. And right now I'm speaking with a lady that she found me on TikTok, and I gave her my phone number and we text, and she's going through the same thing with her son's dad. And this is why I like to speak out about it. Is not to bash anyone because they were both kids. I put blame on my son also for this because the story is I didn't get to finish. So they were in the bathroom from what I was told. The kid actually winded up coming to the hospital 2 days after and just like walked in Amir's room. And I grabbed him and I was like, you got to tell me what happened. Because the cops took him right away. I never got to see him when I got to my house after the shooting. The cops took the ambulance took my son, and the cops took the boy to the precinct. So I never got to know what happened. They took both of their phones, so I never got to like see any messages, what was going on, anything. They took Amir's phone and they took the boy's phone. And when the boy came to the hospital, he told me that Amir was twirling. He admitted that he brought the gun to my house, which I knew because we don't have guns. But he was twirling. He says Amir was sitting on a toilet and he was twirling the gun on his finger like this. But the bullet is up here and it traveled downwards. Could it have happened that way? It could have. And I do put blame on my son because a week prior to this, I showed him a video of kids in the bathroom playing with a gun. And I told him, I said, Amir, if you're ever around a gun or find a gun, please don't touch it. Tell, me, anybody that's around, but don't touch it. Do not touch it. And a week later, this happened. So it's not like I never had this talk with Amir about guns because I know the society we live in and the times we live in right now. For some reason, the young boys are so infatuated with guns. And even if they're not outside doing anything bad, they're just infatuated with, and I think it may be what's on TV,
yeah, yeah.
The music, I don't know, and I don't want to blame that either, but I know that my son was a 15-year-old boy and he had friends, and it was possible that if he was ever around a gun, I want him to know what to do. And he didn't do what I told him to do, and this is the result of it. I wish he would have listened to me, but it is what it is. We're living with it now.
Wow.
So
What a
yeah.
great story, Tiffany. Like it says, yes, you are living with it now. But I can tell the miracle in this story, basically, just listening to you in the first 15 minutes of this interview, is that your son is right next to you. All the stories you just shared already, under normal circumstances, Amara is not supposed to be here. Um, the bullet lodging in his brain and not coming out meant there was no outpour of blood. Doctors not believing, but he still performed. Just all the right things happen for the right reason. And I know it's been a journey for you and the entire family to see. How old is he now? He's about 17,
He's 18.
18, right? So, yeah. Um, I know the days when you wake up and you're like, this is too hard for me. What keeps you going? What keeps you going? What is it? Those hard days when you feel like, uh, you know, I didn't plan my life for this. This is not what I had in mind. What keeps you going, Tiffany?
Amir, his smile, his laughter, his joy. He could be sad every day, upset every day that this is where his life is. At 18, he's not outside with his friends. He's not getting a driver's license and things like that. But when I tell you, Amir is the happiest 18-year-old kid. And I know he goes through his things, and we talk about it. But if I'm not here, Amir, we're like this, and we always been. I had him very young, and we've grew up together basically, and we always said to each other, I'm not leaving you. I would tell him, like, he would always say, Mom, please don't leave me, and I would always tell him, please don't leave me. And I told him that in the hospital, like, remember you told me you weren't going to leave me, and I just can never leave him. I can't. I have to get up every day. I have to work hard. I have to push forward, because nobody else is going to do it for him like I am.
Wow. Thank you so much. Thank you. That's inspiring to some parent that, you know, the love of your child, which is the ultimate love you can actually experience, really.
Yeah.
It's sometimes stronger than the love of a spouse or
Mhm.
partner. But yeah, it's what keeps you up in the morning and what keeps you going. And yep, I can tell he's a great kid. What was his life like before? Was he always bubbly and smiley and happy?
Yes, he played around a lot. Always wanted to make someone smile. So he always was messing around with you or joking around. Um, he wasn't. He really was inside playing the game a lot. He liked to dance. Like any other kid, didn't really like to go to school, but he had really good teachers that loved them and pushed them. So yeah, it was like mainly just he was a homebound body because he was so close to me and his dad that he just I never really let him stay out at other people's houses and things like that. So he was just always happy playing around, joking around. I have so many videos people sending me of him just playing around and making faces and messing with someone. Like,
Mhm.
and he was a very giving person. Like, if he saw someone out on the streets, if he had food, he would try to give it to them. If he had any type of money on him, or if he didn't, he would ask me for the money to give it to them. He was a very
Wow.
good, and he still is. Like, if he sees a homeless person, like he wants to give them or help them in some type of way. And that's just who Amir was. And anybody will tell you that. And I know people say, "Oh, she's the mom." She's like, I had so many people reach out to me when he was in the hospital to say I was in school and people were bullying me, and Amir put his arm around me and sat with me at lunch and became my friend. And and these are things I didn't know about, but that's how Amir was raised. So
Wow.
I'm so
Wow.
happy that he
Wow.
talked about it. Yeah. I was very proud that these kids came, like, told me these things, and that he is the kid that I thought he was, even though he made a mistake and played with a gun that I wish he wouldn't have done. But just because he did that doesn't change that he wasn't a good person or a good kid.
And he still is. That smile
Yeah.
is still there. that charm is still there. He's he's kind of shying away from the
Yes.
camera. So that's good. So he still has the spirit inside of him that
Mhm.
keeps us going. We're gonna take a short break. When we come back, I have a few more questions for you, and we'll just wrap up the podcast because Amir's smile alone is enough to send a powerful message to anyone who's going through right now. To let you know that yep, there's still hope. I back to you too, brother. You know that there's still hope in all this stuff that's going on.
Yeah.
We're gonna take a break and we'll be back soon. Welcome back to the BNN podcast. If you are joining us for the first time, please always remember to click the notification button so you know when we come on. Look at all our socials on BNN podcast and join, like, and support this platform. We do nothing else but to inspire families, inspire people, inspire individuals through stories of those who have gone through. And today, my guest is Tiffany and her handsome son, Amir, who was impacted by a gun injury, an accidental discharge, I want to believe it was. And Tiffany has just taken the first part of the show to share her story. Tiffany, I have two more questions for you, and then I'm going to let you guys go back into your wonderful world. Um, Question number one is what would you say to any other mother who is actually going through something similar or something exactly like what you're going through and have been going through? What would you say to that person or to that mom or that dad or that parent?
Mhm. First off, listen to your heart and listen to and just be, you know, pay attention to what's going on around because I had someone reach out to me that went through the same thing and she told me what to look for in like medical terms and things like that. And that showed me a lot. That helped me a lot. So I would just say, keep going, pay attention to what's going on around you. The doctors are not always right. Pray if you're religious, please pray. That I know that's what got Amir through.
Mm.
And sometimes it don't always work out how Amir's situation worked out. And if you feel like I've had other parents that had to pull the plug on their child and it was no brain activity or things like that. That I'm not saying that's the wrong thing to do. You're the parent and you know what's right and what's wrong and what's going on and just be involved. And if that's where the outcome is, don't feel bad about that because that's you as a parent. Let you make that choice and don't let the doctors make that choice. That's the biggest thing. Because if I would have let the doctors make the choice for Amir wouldn't have been here.
Wow, wow, that's very powerful.
Mhm.
And that means you just have to be in tune with what's going on in your
Yes.
environment. Yeah, that's good. The next question is going to be something else, but I want to read my statistics at this point, right? So it says in 2022, in the US alone, there were more than 48,000 firearm related deaths.
Mhm.
And that's an average of about 132 people per day.
Mhm.
Um, More than half of them were either carried out through suicide. A little over 40% were homicides, but a small portion were accidental discharges, like what just happened to your son.
Mhm.
Um, that's a very high number. And I bet you that number has increased because of what I'm looking at is 2022 and 2025. I know that the numbers have actually gone up. If you had that young boy who brought the firearm into your home, sitting in front of you, what would you actually say to him from a mother's perspective or whatever you're dealing with? What would you say to him?
Mhm. I just wish that he learned something from this. Um, I hope that I'm not mad at him about the situation. I was mad in the beginning, obviously, but I had a lot of time to think about it. I know that he was 14, the kid was 14 at the time, and I wish he would have known better, just like Amir would have known better. So I can't be mad at him because Amir actually was in the room and he was a part of it. I just hope that he learns something from this, and I pray that he changes. He just does something good in his life with what he saw and what happened. and that he's not out there. I don't know what he's out there doing right now. I hope that he's doing good, and I hope that he's changed his life around, not playing with guns or bringing guns to people's houses and things like that. And I just hope that, I just pray that he learned a valuable lesson, because I know Amir has. He has to go through this, and it's not always going to be him that may be affected. It's the other person now. His friend that he called his best friend has to live where he can't speak or walk and maybe never have a regular life.
Mhm. Wow. Well, that's deep. Amir doesn't speak, but he uses an assistive technology, a gadget, to communicate.
Yes.
How is that working?
It works well. Like
Tell
before,
us, tell us about it. Yeah, tell us about that.
so
Yeah.
it's an iPad that
Mhm.
just has a words on it. I don't know if you could see
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
so then he could just say, like, if I ask him, like, how are you feeling, or if you are you okay, he could say yes. He could say
Okay.
goodbye. He could also like type things, so he's learning how to type really well and things like that. He has a lot of buttons on here, so like I can ask him what he wants for dinner. Before, I couldn't do that because we didn't have a way to communicate. I would have to guess, or he also talks with his hands. So before the device came, 1 is yes and 2 is no. So I would ask him things and he could tell me yes and no. Because he couldn't shake his head. He still can't shake his head up and down. Well, he could only go back and forth. So we came up with the 1 and 2 at rehab, and we worked with that for a long time. And then the device came about, and it just made everything so much easier. Not even just speaking and telling me things, but also learning how to spell again.
Right, right.
Learning
Yeah,
how to spell. Yeah.
yeah, the impact of the work that I do my daytime job is working with children and adults with intellectual disabilities, and I understand the power of assistive technology. So if there's anybody out there who has gone through or is going through and is nonverbal, this is a direction you can go to help your loved one communicate. And like you said, it also helps them begin to use their motor skills and also begin to communicate one way or the other as they improved on their journey. Thank you so much for sharing that. Hey, Amara, we got you, brother. I got you. I got you. Yeah. So thank you. Is there anything else you would like to share before I ask you one more thing? Is there anything you'd like to share? Is there anything you want to say?
Um.
Look at the camera. Just this is your
Yeah.
moment.
I'm trying to. We kind of touched all bases. I just wish that the kids out here, young kids, just understood the importance of guns in general, and gun violence and things like that, and just take from what they see is going on, what happened with Amir, and not wait till it's too late.
I agree.
Okay.
There's something we do on our podcast. We every guest that comes in, they have what we call a drop-off question, and the drop-off question is where you actually, just ask whoever is coming in next
Mm-hmm.
a question, regardless of whatever it is. And sometimes they don't know who's coming in next, right? They
Right.
just ask a question, and then you have to answer that question. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a drop-off question for you, and then you have to prepare yourself to give the next person who's going to come in after you. They could be Caucasian, African, Japanese, male, female, tall, short. You don't know who they are,
Yes.
right? So
Yes.
you just have a question for whoever they are, and then they will have to answer that question that Tiffany asked. So Tiffany, let's quickly go to your drop-off question, which I think is a very interesting one. Tiffany's drop-off question is oh yeah, definitely. It says, can God be seen through your situation?
100%.
I
Yeah.
was gonna say that, yeah.
Definitely. In
Well,
so
go
many
ahead. Yeah, answer that.
so many ways. Just like I said, the floor that Amir's birthday is February 4th. My mom's is January 4th. The floor he was on was the 4th floor. The name was Barbara. The lady that came was Barbara. Like I said, we prayed. I mean, I couldn't even tell you. Every single night, me and his dad that stayed in that hospital with him, I never left the hospital. His dad wound up having to leave after like 2 months because he had to go back to work.
Yes.
But we went down to the praying room every single night and prayed. Our family came up and prayed over Amir. Yes, God was with us through this. I know it. I know it. So for sure, he can be seen.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't believe in God, hearing this story should inspire you to get involved and get into who God is and what He could do for you.
I agree with you. And you can see Amir just said yes.
Yes.
And pointing up to heaven, which means yes, he understands where his source comes from.
So that's one thing we talk about. Not that I ask Amir every day, who loves you the most, who loves you second, and who loves you third. So God loves you first, you love you second, and your parents love you third because God is first.
Good. That's what it's all about right there.
Yeah.
God is number one and the center of everything through His Son Jesus Christ, and we know that's the path, the right path to follow. Tiffany, thank you so much for sharing. Is Amir's dad also supportive and involved in the journey too?
Very, yes.
That's
yes,
good.
He's here, and yeah, he has some trauma because of what he saw on that bathroom floor that day.
Yes.
I don't go into what happened, like what he saw, because I can barely get it out. So just thinking about he has to live with that, thought, and he went through a really bad depression at one point, but he pulled himself out for Amir, and he's very, very involved. Yes. That's always good. Always been here. And, I feel like if it wasn't for his dad, Amir probably wouldn't have been here either, because his fast thinking, and I tell him all the time, like, if that was me and I was there and I found Amir, I don't know if I would have been so quick with everything that he did. He was just quick and called the cops and just got everything situated, handled. And literally, like, I think the cops was there in like the matter of like 3 minutes, 4 minutes.
Wow.
So, yes.
So that's good. Send my regards to him. We wish him well. And the last question is yours, Tiff.
Yes.
What's your drop-off question?
Okay. Goodness. Let me think. So I want to ask a good one.
That's the problem right there. Just ask what's on your heart. Just
okay.
Think of your journey, what you've been through.
Yes.
Think of what some things that that have been challenging to you, that you say to another mother or another parent. How would you deal with this? Or just think of anything. It doesn't have. There's no right or wrong answer. Just,
yeah.
Okay, ask me any question you want to ask me.
Do you believe in God?
I sure do. I believe in God, and Jesus Christ is my Lord and Savior, and the core of who I am as a human being. Actually, this whole podcast came up from an inspiration during a very dark time in my life, and I've shared the story several times on the platform, where I was going through a very dark time, and I thought, I couldn't pull through it, and the Lord said, "You'll be fine. That your experiences is what's going to help empower and support other people. That although you're broken, you're not shattered." And that's how the name came, the BNS podcast.
Wow.
And that's how I've been able to share, use my platform just to inspire people on a regular basis, just to believe that there is hope. We give hope to the hopeless and a voice to those who don't have voices. So
that's amazing. That is amazing.
Yeah. So now back to the question. What's your question now? How about this? I'm going to ask the next person. Tiffany says, "Do you believe in God? If not, why?"
Why? That's a good one. Perfect.
All right. Because that's where your heart really truly is.
Yes. I want to hear that answer.
Okay. Do you believe in God? And if not, why?
Perfect.
All right. Thank you so much, Tiffany, for joining us. All right, buddy. Take good care of yourself. See you.
Thank you so much.
You have a great child, really, really great child there. And he has a lot of life to give in spite of all the stuff that he's going through. He hasn't started his journey yet. He has a lot to share. Just make sure you have all the right tools, the right support around him to empower him, encourage him, and he will be a voice to reckon with in years to come. There's technology is going to come out where he doesn't have to be, even if he doesn't get his voice back, he'll be able to communicate and send messages to other young people about the power and the challenges of a gun or accidental injuries and using the messing around with firearms.
Yes.
So I look forward to staying in touch with you guys and watch Amara become who God has called him to become.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
I hope I've encouraged you guys. Take care.
Have a good one.
All right. See you guys.
Bye.
Well, that's us on the BNS podcast. This case is just a very unique case because it's something to do with gun violence. And I can't say that enough. We have to stop all the gun violence that we see on a regular basis out here. On that note, I just want to say peace, more love, and more grace. Take care. Please join the BNS podcast and sign up now.